Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Doc and Queenie Facebook Live at high noon. Good afternoon, Queenie.
Good afternoon, Doc. How are you doing today?
I am almost happy it's Monday.
Yeah. You're getting better and better at that every single week.
I'm slowly getting there. No, I'm coming off a little mini vacation, so Mondays are always harder to get back into the swing.
Can you tell us where you went?
Yes, I can. There's little bits and pieces of it all over Facebook and Instagram.
Oh, okay.
So my husband and I went down to Eureka Springs and hung out for a couple of days, which was fun. He has never been there.
For the people who are not local, where is Eureka Springs? What state?
Sorry, that's in Arkansas. Yes,
okay.
It's northwest Arkansas. It's about, I don't know. It's I'm going to say maybe 20-25 miles on south of Missouri.
Okay.
So
perfect. I have been there before, but like I say, for the folks that we have now that are no longer local to the Kansas City market, I wanted to make sure they knew where Eureka Springs is. So Eureka Springs is famous for
a lot of things. The town itself was built like in the 1860s. It was around during Civil War times. It's very eclectic. It's got an artist colony there. We did not walk around. My husband didn't feel like walking around, so we just kind of drove through. He's never seen it, and of course we picked the weekend that it was a Harley weekend, so all the motorcycles were around. So
let me guess, Doc is buying a Harley. Let me just guess.
They're a little out of my price range. And they just make too much noise. That's just me, but there's nothing like a Harley. We lived actually just south of where they originally made Harleys in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and we were there when they celebrated their 100-year anniversary. So, and that was a trip just to see, like, the highways were full. I mean, like, we're talking thousands of Harleys. It was incredible. But anyways, I digress. But yeah, so we went into town, but it's also famous for, I've got a picture here at least. My favorite, I brought up the wrong one. My favorite, this one, was the Christ of the Ozarks. This was a statue, it's in Eureka Springs. That was, of course, I always love facts. And this was built in 1966. Don't ask me by who, because I've already forgotten. But it's 65 feet high. It's made out of basically cement and rebar. And they attached it to the bedrock underneath, so of course it's been standing there for 50 plus years. It's incredible.
Which, if you know that area and how famous it is for tornadoes, that in itself is a feat.
Yes. So yes, this is the one of the places we wanted to go see, and it was beautiful. It was overlooking a little valley. And they actually, I don't know if it's exactly on the grounds, you do pass, there's a passion play that they do every year there. And so you pass that as you're going to this statue. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, so we took a couple of days. We had a lot of fun. For those of you that don't know, it's mountainous to a flatlander. It would be a hill if you grew up in the West, with the real mountains. And I've been to Branson. Those were okay, but this was even, there were a few. When they say 20 miles on those little snaky signs, they mean go 20 miles an hour. Yeah, they seriously mean it. And doing that in the dark was fun. We saw several deer that were contemplating jumping out in front of us. That was fun too, but we made it in one piece, and we made it home in one piece.
That's the good news. That is awesome.
So, but before we get into our stuff here, I have to mention today, it is food. I found it's National Truffle Day today, Monday, May 2nd. It's National Truffle Day.
Truffle Day. Now that excites me more than I can tell you.
Now,
Well-
have you had a real truffle? Because this is the real deal.
Uh,
No,
I guess
Truffle oil?
I've had a purchased truffle, I think.
Okay, you're talking about the stuff that I make at Christmas time, which is usually made out of chocolate.
Yeah, this is
Like
mushroom
so?
truffle. Yeah, I've had one of those before, I think. In fact, I think I might have had one of yours one of those years. Is this mushrooms behind you?
Actually, they're fun. Well, yeah, it's a fungus. It's a, yeah,
Okay.
they're
I
they're
think I
very,
know
very
about-
expensive, but they're
Okay.
very, very flavorful. You might have truffle oil,
Yes, I
a
was
lot of
just gonna
times you
say
see
that. I know people.
French
put
fries
truffle
and
oil.
truffle oil. You like-
Yeah. Oh, so they're trying
Um,
to make the French fries healthy? Is that the deal?
I don't, it's kind of like pizza flavored potato chips. It just doesn't make any sense, but that's just me.
Okay, so truffle is actually a fungus, but
Yes.
truffles for some people are confectionery.
Yes, for me and being a ex-baker, baking business person, it's rolling out the dough. Actually, that I was looking for pictures of my truffles. And because I have a new phone, I don't have the truffle pictures. These are actually getting ready to be dipped in the chocolate. So, but they
Wow.
look truffle-esque. So,
Okay, well, I would have thought those were finished, so I thought that was already dipped. Wow.
nope, those were just actually getting ready to go into the freezer. I freeze them. And this is just half a batch. I mean, I do probably 10 to
gosh.
12 dozen of the chocolate. And then I do 10 to 12 of the peanut butter. So yeah, a truffle can be anything really. So,
Wow,
but,
and you know
but
what? I actually saw on Facebook today, 34 weeks until Christmas.
wow, okay.
Yeah, I know. Everybody's waiting for tulips and pear trees and all this stuff. And I thought, well, I partner with and support a lot of pages that are, I love Christmas, how about you kind of things. And so they pop up, and this time it was 34 weeks until Christmas. And I was like, holy moly.
I can't even, I don't have my garden in yet, I just,
Oh my gosh. I bet that doesn't even compute in your head when you're still trying to plant stuff.
no, I'm not even close. I'm not,
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
still, I don't even have this planted to have it do this yet.
Wow.
But in driving down to Arkansas from Kansas City, it was interesting because our leaves are just starting to come out. When we got down there, which it was about 3.5, 4 hours down there, their leaves are out. Most of their flowering trees are almost finished. I mean, it was just kind of funny.
Oh,
It was just
wow.
like, you
So
would
they're
think,
that far ahead of us.
yep,
Okay.
yep, I'd say they're a couple of weeks ahead of us.
So you are telling us that spring is going to come to Kansas City.
That would be my guess, but you never know. It's been crazy.
Yeah, it seriously has. I know that you were gone, but it was so windy and stormy here and on Friday, Saturday. And I was just like, oh my gosh, it was too windy yesterday, even for me to mow. And then Saturday. And then Sunday, I finally thought I'm getting it done now, or it's never going to happen, because this next week, in fact, today, we're supposed to get storms and rain and thunder showers and all kinds of stuff, which I love free water, don't get me wrong, but I'm like, oh my goodness, when I may have to bail this yard.
Well, we thank God, because we were supposed to go to Wichita and we were going to be staying in the area where they got hit by the tornado. So we're like, thank you, God, thank you, Jesus, that we didn't go. We just decided last minute, like, well, let's not go to Wichita. Let's go down to Eureka Springs. Yeah, but thank you, God, nobody was hurt. The tornado, we were watching all this stuff the other night. It was on the ground for 20 minutes and it was an F3. So
20 minutes
could have
is a
done-
long time for a lot of destruction.
yes. And what amazed me, we were watching a lot of the stuff on TikTok where the people, well, it's typical Kansas, Missouri, whatever. We all are out looking, watching it come in. The people there was one person in particular, it looked like it was like half a block away and they're still standing there with their phone. And you're like, I would be in the basement, pillows under the stairs, yeah. It was just incredible.
Some of the people who are used to it are kind of like, here's another one
Yeah.
I can run at the last minute. And the only problem is I did see that 3 meteorologist students did die.
Did they? Okay,
Yeah.
I hadn't checked anything. Did
They
they?
were actually from Oklahoma, and they were
Were they
obviously-
chasing?
They were storm chasers, and they were 3 students from, I believe, University of Oklahoma. And that was also posted, and but they were doing what they love, which that piece is always lovely. Hardly a comfort to the families, I'm sure, but they were very popular, very eclectic, loved storm chasing. And they did do storm chasing, but Oklahoma, and like I said, I'm not totally sure what school, so don't anyone panic until you check it out. But 3 of the storm chasers who are meteorology students did die.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that is just incredible. But I do think when I see things like that, if you're doing what you love, it's still not a comfort to the family, but you get to go home when it's time. And it's never a surprise to God, in my opinion. It's not like you get up there and he goes, wait a second, I didn't call for you. And so that's always interesting to me. And it doesn't make it easier, as I said, for the families remaining, and certainly the friends and all of that. But it really is, I would think, a comfort to be able to know it's not just a, oh my gosh, kind of thing. It literally is a comfort, I would think, that they got to do what they love. Plus they got to be together, which I think is double fabulous.
Well, and how many times do we talk about in just our back and forth with, and I'm bouncing off the loving, doing what you love to do, you know, using your talents and gifts that God gave you to do whatever you are in your business.
Absolutely. And one thing I did want to share today, Doc, since you were talking about truffles, know, I'm a foodie too, right?
Sure you are. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Laura.
Did I do that well?
You did pretty well. Yeah, but I did want to share because I saw this also, and it was just so cool for me because I feel that people are paying attention better to our land and our world and our water. And this is actual water drinking week.
Yes, I saw a post you posted the other day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So water drinking week. And so May 1st through the 7th, it's always the first full week in May. And that was an interesting thing to me because isn't it interesting that people don't feel that it's water drinking week all the time? Because people are coming out of winter. So they kind of feel, I better start drinking water now. And my brain always goes to, what were you drinking before? Yeah. And so, you know, a lot of times for winter time, people do hot coffee, hot tea, hot cocoa, all that kind of stuff. That's terrific, but your body's not made of hot coffee, hot tea, hot cocoa. Right. And so I always am like, your skin is not dry because of your furnace, my friends. Your skin is dry because you're not hydrating effectively, because you chug water during the summer, because you're thirsty, you're outside working, blah, blah, blah. And so you drink more water, you sweat like a pig, all that stuff. And then I'm just like, oh my gosh. So when it's water, no, drinking water week, this particular week, I thought, well, yay. And I guess it draws attention to the water, which of course takes us to water supplies and what they are doing to stuff, some people are thinking. And so it's one of those things to be comforted by being able to have our Kangen water, which is pretty amazing. Now, let's be fair. You can make your hot cocoa, coffee, tea, all that stuff with Kangen, but it's one of those things that is a beverage, not necessarily a hydration factor. That's correct, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Because a lot of people say, honey, I had 2 cups of coffee. That's 16 ounces of water. And
coffee is a diuretic.
Right. I don't think it works like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I drink water. I drink coffee too, but I drink water also because I know that every time I breathe, I'm not losing coffee, I'm losing water. So you are a very good teacher, and I appreciate that piece because that's what we tell people for the Kangen water business. But I wanted you to see my cool buttons. I actually have this button and I wear it when I'm being a water geek. And so when it's drinking water week, I thought, oh my gosh. So
well, we were water geeks. We were actually, I don't know if you could hear us talking, we were chuckling because I brought my big, it's a 5-gallon jug full of our Kangen water with us on our trip.
Wow.
And we were chuckling. We're like, we're water snobs. We are. We carried our water into wherever we went. Yes.
Well, and quite frankly, think about that. For me, it is not comfortable, but almost not possible to drink other stuff now. It's
Oh.
like if you drink tap water, you're kind of going, what is the, oh my gosh, I forgot. Or you go to someone else's location, hotel, city, whatever that looks like. And most of the time when I travel, luckily it's to a conference where there's Kangen water, or I just take one of my machines, which makes everything easier. But I can't imagine going without it. And I really can't. And especially, I've told you before, it's hard for me to eat salad out in most places, because once you rinse lettuce and other produce with Kangen, 11.5 for those of you who are geeking with us, once you rinse with that water, the flavor of the, what do you call it? The chemical cleaner stuff that they put on it is just gross.
It kind of coats the upper part
There
of
you
your
go.
mouth. I mean,
That's right.
it's
Yeah.
just, well, and because we have taken those steps to eliminate things, that's kind of, I used to be a diet soda drinker, and once in a while I go, let me try it. And I'm like, ugh, how, but that's just, it's.
How did I do
your
that?
palate is trained. Yeah.
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 How did I do that before?
It's kind of like eating too. I mean, when your body is doing what it needs to detox, and if you're hydrating properly, you can taste different ingredients in whatever you are eating. And it's like what you're saying with the lettuce. I mean, you can pick up on that because your system is detoxing properly, and that includes your taste buds.
Yeah, because
So
I thought at the first couple times I have even thought, oh my gosh, what is wrong with me that this salad tastes so weird? And then I went, oh, wait a second. I have a feeling that this is chlorinated because they rinse it in. Ugh. And so
yeah.
that's the salad that they're serving. And I just went, oh my gosh, nothing's wrong with me, dear. It's what they're rinsing the stuff in. And
Well, happy Water Week, Queenie.
thank you very much. I'm super excited. Yeah, it doesn't take a lot to make me happy, I will say, but it's back to that same drill. Don't you feel that with what you do as far as the education piece and helping people with their different steps in eating food that's real, it really is all about education and letting people know that there is a much healthier, and certainly in our case with the water business, less expensive way than the commercial way.
Yep. Oh yeah, and you've heard me refer, I mean, I got sick, and how did I turn it around? It was growing my own food. It was eating healthier. It was the water. I mean, yeah, that's how we were designed. We're not designed for processed, fake, chemical laden, whatever.
Yeah, I always call it cardboard, and I'm just like, ew. And so some of the stuff you can just look at it and go, what did this used to be?
Yeah. Well, and
Well,
people are like, well, I'm fine, as they, I'm fine. Well, the body is an amazing functioning machine that will compensate to a point. And then when it can't compensate anymore, that's when illness and disease pops in. So
one of my favorite things, and I bet you've done this with some of your clients, and it's not nice to laugh, I suppose, but I've had people before in a chamber meeting, like we're in a chamber of commerce, and I say something about, oh, healthy water, and I'm happy to give you a sample at no addition, no fee, that kind of thing. And oh, honey, I'm healthy. And I'm literally this far away from whomever it would be, and they've got dark circles under their eyes. And I'm just sitting here going, I even know about dehydrated capillaries, because this is right here a telltale. And it's not that you take on stuff to make you not have dark circles, but I'm looking right at them, and I'm sitting here going, your capillaries are dehydrated. What does this say about the rest of you? But I certainly don't fight with them. And
it's also a marker for liver congestion.
Okay. I didn't know that piece, of course.
Which is part of the problem. You're not drinking enough water. You're not flushing your system. It's not getting detoxed. Your liver is your biggest detoxer organ. So yeah, makes sense.
And it's back to that same drill. And then once again, like I say, I don't fight with them, but when I see, that's one of our markers, as you call it, when we talk about water, is dehydrated capillaries. And I had to find out what that actually was, because all of a sudden you start noticing. And so what is that? Your capillaries are closest to the surface on this.
They're very close to the surface. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Because that's how they said you can actually tell if someone's dehydrated. Some people pinch their skin and see if it sticks up, or if it goes back down and all that stuff. And some of the things, your chiropractor, chiropractors are usually the best for finding out if you're dehydrated. What are some of the other tests that they do for that? I don't know that.
It depends on your chiropractor. But they do a lot of by touch,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, it depends on the approach of the chiropractor. I'm just trying to think. I've had several different, there's one actually I'm working with right now that's into functional medicine. So that's kind of her bend. So
Okay.
she will ask questions, others, it might just be the way the body functions or not, or is not functioning. It just depends. There's so many different, different perspectives.
When I do, in some of the groups I'm in, they always say, are you B2B, which stands for business to business, or B2C, which is business to consumer? And I say, well, my target market is obviously B2B because I love working with other professionals to that level, but I also work with residential and individuals. So that's my answer. But for me, it's a matter of, pardon me, it is a matter of massage therapists, chiropractors, physicians, certainly sometimes as well. A lot of times they will be the ones to say, after a treatment, drink more water. So that's usually the best fit in the world for me as far as the B2B part. So business to business, business to consumer. Hair salons are another great fit for my company because one of the waters is fantastic to help with the hair follicles and certainly the frizzies. I've been noticing, Doc, that people have been talking about on social media that when they go outside in this humidity in Kansas City market, their hair goes, and so all of a sudden it's all frizzy and stuff like that. And I guess since I use beauty water now, I don't even think of it. But in the olden days, that was an actual issue. Like you'd have flyaway and just weird stuff. You spritz it on after you get out of the shower. You really don't have that anymore. And it's just funny to me, the stuff you don't think about anymore is such a, gosh, I haven't done it in so long. It's not even an issue.
We wash our clothes in it in the
Yes.
11.5 and the 2.5. I haven't paid for detergent in over 2-3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
don't
a
even
funny
notice.
thing.
Don't even notice. I mean, there's no smell. I mean, everything's clean. I actually noticed when my daughter came home from college through some certain brand, and I'm like, what is that stink? It was just like, we're using water, honey. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Isn't that a funny thing?
So-
Yeah. Of course, I can't imagine in a college situation. Now, I do have students who actually take their machines if they have a fraternity house or a sorority house. But usually in a dorm, it's a little more cumbersome because the students are responsible for doing their own cleaning. Well, the machines would tip over or fall off the counter or blah, blah, blah. But if they're in a sorority or fraternity house, that's easier. And so
I would say coffee shops is another good
Yeah,
place that,
absolutely.
that would make, like, I know I've heard you talk about your coffee. It makes it taste so much better. Yeah. I
the
mean, there's so
flavor is
many
awesome.
different
And
uses.
you know what else I love? You don't have to use as much of the coffee grounds when you're brewing. And I noticed that right off the bat because I'm just scooping like I normally did when I got my machine, and all
You
of a
like
sudden
shaking.
I'm like, what is the problem? And you use a
A
lot
little
less.
bold.
Wow. And so, yeah, you have to use less coffee grounds because the water gets into
funny.
whatever that does, and it brews more.
I wonder what that would taste
effectively.
like with a nitro brew, because a nitro is like espresso on crack.
I can't even imagine that. That would keep me up for like several days. I don't
Yeah,
know if
you'd
I'd
be
be
like,
able to do that.
That's
Oh my
funny.
gosh. Well, I don't know how we got into the water topic, but it's
Sorry,
definitely
we
one of my
just,
favorites.
no, it's Happy Water Week.
Yeah, and it really seriously is. But isn't that a trip that they use the first full week of May, Sunday to Saturday, to do drinking water week? And I saw that and I thought, well, I got to chime in on this one. So
Yes, oh, totally.
everybody wants to go back to your truffles because those look yummy.
Oh, and I had to
Why
throw up
is
the water
that?
picture behind me.
That's
Yeah,
what is
that's
that?
that's where we stayed. Actually, the
my
house
gosh.
on my left is the house where we're at, and that is, they keep calling it
Wow.
Table Rock Lake. To me, it looks like a river, but I don't know how they define that. So,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I did not bring my fishing gear with me. I would have loved to, because we were right by a dock, and there were fishing boats out there. I mean, it was just, so no.
Does your
we
husband
did a
fish
lot of,
also?
I'm sorry?
Does your husband fish also?
No, he'll sit and watch.
Okay. Okay. Well, I was
Yeah,
just
no.
wondering, because that would have probably been hard for you to watch and go, I need to be out there.
I
Yeah.
know it was hard. We were sitting at, but even though it was, well, today it's raining, but yesterday was gorgeous out. It was in the 70s, perfect. The wind is still chilly, and it was that way on Saturday when we were there too.
Okay.
It was still, we sat in the sun for a little while, but the wind was still chilly. So it's kind of like, come on.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's
yeah.
but that's the whole picture behind you is just gorgeous.
I actually took that from the car when we crossed the bridge. I
Oh my
just took
goodness.
a guest shot. I love my phone. I mean, when it's right, when it's on, it's on. So
Well, that's
stay
like
tuned.
Chamber of
There'll be
Commerce
more
picture.
movies.
That
Yeah.
that is Chamber of Commerce picture for sure. Do you recognize this picture behind me?
That looks like some pansies. Yes.
And the good news is, when you sent this to me, feeling sorry for me that of course I don't have my own pansies, I guess you figured that out. I loved it. And then as soon as I put this up here and my little head's in the center where the whatever it's called is, I thought, wow, this is pretty cool. So
Well,
anyway,
it looks like you're wearing a high collar there.
I know it's a fashion statement, if nothing else. Pansies, what is it?
There's petunias.
Okay, and then peonies are coming out because I've even got those
Peonies, yep.
myself. And some people call them peonies, I think. Kind of like poinsettias, poinsettia, and all those different things.
Poinsettia. Yep.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
will hack up the words. Yeah.
yeah. But as
I
soon as you
admit-
sent me this, I was like, how did she know I like purple?
I don't know. I took a guess.
Oh my gosh. And I'm sure you've got gorgeous flower pictures. Now, you have said before that some, in fact, I have daffodils, which come up by themselves. The subdivision plants of tulips, I was just going to mention that. And it's back to that same thing, crocus and all the stuff that comes up on its own. Those are my favorite, of course.
Yes.
They require zero care, and even I can't mess them up. And all of a sudden I see these gorgeous green things come up, and then pretty soon, boop, here's yellow and white stuff. And I went, bingo, you can stay.
Yes, I'm getting that way more and more. I'm planting more and more perennials in my gardens. And I'm actually getting ready.
I think
for a
it's
few
because
more.
you're working so hard with the food. I mean, the
Yeah.
other stuff has to be automatic because my goodness, I don't know how you do it as far as how many hours are in a day, actually.
There aren't enough right now with the community garden. We're about halfway through, and
Okay.
also it's timing because of the weather. So we're still kind of waiting. And this week looks like we've got 2 to 3 days of rain again. So yeah, and I haven't been there yet. I will get over there once it stops raining to check on everything. So we'll see.
Yeah. Well, and the timing is always interesting. And then like you have said before, the critters. So hopefully that cute happy dog that you've got over there will keep some of the big ones away.
Well,
And
she's one of the critters. I'm like, get out of my garden.
Oh, I don't
Like,
think that's how it's supposed to
I've
be.
got a garden box that she ran through. Yeah.
Oh,
like,
no.
Could you not go around?
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, now that
So-
probably didn't work the way you were anticipating.
Things survive. The radishes are coming up. The lettuces, I'll have to take a picture. The radish, we have radish, spinach, lettuce, and Swiss charge. And she ran
Mhm.
right through the box.
Oh my
So
God.
wiped out most of the spinach, but the radish, they're getting bigger. They're about yay high. So
So my question, because I was so intrigued with your potato towers, how are those doing?
I saw a sprout the other day. So there is still hope. I'm praying over them because I've never done it. And I'm like, I'm not seeing anything. And there's over 180 potato seeds that are planted in those towers. And actually I've got
Oh,
a picture.
wow.
I think still
Okay.
on background. But yeah, you can kind of,
Yes.
so each where you see the dirt kind of sticking out there, that's where the potato seeds, the leaves are poking through. So I saw a few, so I'm hopeful. Hopefully.
Well, quite frankly, if there's 800 in each potato tower, that's a pretty small space for 800 to pop through, right?
180.
Oh,
I take that back. I'm saying 180. I had, I'm trying to remember. I've got it written down. Actually, let me look real fast here. I wrote everything down. Son of a gun. There we go. Let's see, we have 40, we have 52 in one of them. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 70 in the other. So
Oh my goodness.
110, but if you multiply that by, let's just round it down to 100 and multiply it by 6, that's 600 potatoes. Hopefully.
Holy.
Our
Okay.
intention is to give a, you know, there, and I have found a few organizations that will take fresh produce from the garden. So that is my hope, that we will have blessings abounding. That's what we're praying for, in order to give to people that need food.
That's
So,
awesome. Honestly, that really is
Yeah.
so awesome.
so,
Wow.
but
I think that's just beautiful. And like I say, the potato towers themselves just intrigued me because I've never seen one, and I certainly would not. When you put that, I don't know if it was a reel, actually, when you did the steps of how you put it together, that was like, oh my gosh. And then all of a sudden you see this done thing. And I was like, that's the cool, I've never seen one in my life. And that still intrigues me.
it looks it's fairly new. I just stumbled on it on YouTube, our favorite information highway.
Yeah.
How to, and I think it was probably how to plant potatoes, because I always look at other people's stuff to just, you know, and that would be a suggestion for our business owners. YouTube, press a button, right? Always press a button. And it's a good way to get a feel for people in your field. I learn gardeners always are sharing information anyways, but I learn a ton from people on YouTube. Like, I never thought of that, you know? And so that's where this YouTube, where the potato tower came from, because it's new. So we'll see. I don't know if I did it. I thought I followed the directions. I'm just like, come on, potatoes.
Oh my gosh. And that's a curious thing to me, by the way, because that brings me to Happy Neighborhood Project. And in that particular group, when you're tossed into a breakout room, the only way you can leave the breakout room is if you're with someone in your very same company. So that's the only way. Other than that, if you've been with them before or whatever that looks like, you stay nicely, get to know each other, that kind of thing. I stay on purpose when it's another water person. Either it's a water besides Kangen that I want to hear what they have to say, or it's another Kangen person. So I get to find out where else they go for training and who does train them, what level they are in the company, that kind of thing. I stay on purpose. I feel that these are not my competition. These are my colleagues. And some of the ones that have stayed are usually quite grateful, because I have other things I train on. So it's not just training on the water, it's leadership or personality training or those kind of things. And so we go one step further. And so that's always interesting to me. And for you to go to other gardeners, I would think the line would be out the door for people that want to find out what you're doing, because your reels are still, and you're still ranking, aren't you?
I'm still ranking up in the 20,000-ish views. Yeah. You know, but here's the weird thing I still don't understand. And when I figure it out, I get 5 or 10 hits, and I'll hit 30,000 people looking at it, but only 5 will go like it. And you're like, what is that?
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just weird. It's weird.
That brings
but yeah.
We do have an event this week, Doc, which I'm super excited to share. And that is a perfect segue into posting parties. And Delinda Lane, our fun, fearless female, Doc does Tuesday tips with Dr. Laura, and I do Words of Wisdom Wednesday with the fun, fearless female global community of Christian women with Delinda Lane. And she is actually hosting a posting party on Wednesday, May 4th at 1:00 Central Time. So depending upon where you are in the country, in the world, anyone who is part of Delinda's fan club is certainly welcome to attend. We start at the very beginning. Some people have not done a LinkedIn update in a while. Some people choose to do posting parties with Facebook, and that's your choice. But mainly we target LinkedIn just because it has been so incredibly successful as far as how many views, how many comments, how much engagement, and how much traffic. So anyway, that's Wednesday.
And I'd like to back that up, because you had done I'd won a posting party with you. Was that a couple months ago? That was February, I think.
February 8th. Yeah, February 8th.
February 8th. And I had less than 50 connections. And after we were finished with the posting part, between the combination of the posting party and HNP, or Happy Neighborhood Project, I'm over, I haven't looked lately, sorry, I've been busy, but I gained like 100 I mean, it would just exploded. It was incredible to watch. I had a post that had over 300 views and probably, I don't know, 25 or 30 comments. Yeah, it was phenomenal to watch that. And Queenie, you have had some stuff like that. Non-LinkedIn happen. Remember that cup of coffee?
Yes.
It's all about who you're connected to. She had a cup of coffee, everybody, and there were over 1,000 people that liked her cup, and all she was talking about was cup of coffee was what, 30 seconds?
Yes.
30 seconds, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah,
That
it
was
was just
amazing. Yeah. And I really do think it's one of those kind of things, the more that we learn, we're able to help other people. And that's the part that I do love so much. So the posting party is free and available to anyone who's part of Delinda's group. And that has been so much fun. And so if you have not attended yet, it's just on Zoom. And the more people who attend, the bigger the reach of the posting party, which is kind of the point. So we go through every single step, how to this and how to that. So, but thank you for that, Doc. That was a lot of fun. And speaking of dates coming up,
yes.
Doc, do you know what is 3 months from today?
Let's see, what is today? It's May 2nd. 3 months.
3 months from yesterday. I forgot that part. It's on the 1st this year. Okay.
Okay. Would it have something to do, wait, I'm going to try and, would it have something to do with this? Because that was one of our first posts.
Yeah, it has something to do with it's Doc and Queenie Day. And August 1st, because I forgot this year, it's on the 1st. This year, the first Monday in August, which is when we launched DQ, Doc and Queenie back in 2020, right?
20, yeah,
Yeah.
I was going to say, yeah, 2020.
2020. And so that will be 2 years of Doc and Queenie. And that part for me, every time I see the dates and the timing, just like the Christmas thing in 34 weeks, I'm sitting here going, I'm having a panic attack. I got to get my tree up. And I'm just sitting here going, oh my gosh. And isn't that a funny thing how something like that plants the seed in your brain and you're going, I'm behind. And so, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but 3 months from yesterday is Doc and Queenie Day. So we definitely want all of you to celebrate with us.
Totally.
Because we are super duper excited to have our community, not only this big, but this engaged.
Well, and it was a labor of love for us to reach out and to just lighten things up, talk about networking, talk about what we do, and just, and we have our guests live, which is always fun. We've had 2 power, superstars the past 2 weeks. So of course, if anybody would like to join us, please let Queenie or myself know, and we will get our schedules synced, and you can come on and you get 15 to 20 minutes, talk about whatever. If you want to talk about the weather, we'll talk about the weather. So, yeah, but no,
you want to talk about peonies or potatoes, we can do any of those things.
Yep. Or networking, whether it's LinkedIn or posting parties, yeah. So guess what, Queenie? It looks like, I'm looking at my clock. It looks like we're kind of. Oh my gosh,
Doc. I can't even believe how fast this goes. I know. It is so good to see you. I'm glad you had a super fun mini vacay. And for everyone joining us live or on the replay, we so appreciate you. So I guess it's time to take us home, Doc.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us at Doc and Queenie Facebook Live at. We hope you can join us again, whether live or on the replay next week at the same time, same place, or we have a Doc and Queenie Bible trivia where you don't have to be a Bible scholar. Certainly, I'm going to speak for myself. I am not, because I just hack up people's names and places in the Bible from the Old Testament. It's kind of scary, but I've learned a lot. Regardless, that's Thursdays at 7 p.m. Until next time, have a blessed and wonderful week. Thank you, Queenie.
Thank you, Doc, and thank you, everybody. Bye for now.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.